Hello, my name is Chloe. Welcome to my channel. Today, of course, I have a May book haul to show you. So, I knew my book hauling was going to get slightly out of hand in May. I took a trip to the US and I made full use of the bookshops, Amazon, Book of the Month, everything. I got all my books purchased that I wanted to, and I was absolutely spoiled with gifts from you guys for hitting 3,000 subscribers. So I actually have 27 books to talk about here. I will start from the books I got secondhand up to the books I got on my trip and finishing with the gifts from you guys. So let's just get stuck in or we'll be here a very long time. First of all, the books I got secondhand, there is a really nice bookshop in the town next to Coles. They're a normal independent bookstore at the front, and at the back there are paperbacks for $1 or hardbacks for $2. So I got myself a few things that sounded interesting, one of which I did really want, like before going in. So the first one I picked up is Carrie by Stephen King, and I have not had the best luck with Stephen King. I haven't actually enjoyed one of his books, but I did really want to give Carrie a go. I tried to read The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson, which is a YA horror retelling of Carrie, and I just couldn't quite vibe with it. I wasn't sure why. So I thought I would go back, and seeing this for $1, it's less than £1, I would try and give the original Carrie a go. See if I like it, and if I don't, I mean, it's fine. It's also very short for a Stephen King novel. I believe it just crosses over 300 pages. So if I'm gonna vibe with any of his books, let's make it this short one with massive text on the page. I'm not a huge fan of this edition, so if I do like this book to the level where I want to keep it, I'll probably buy a new one, but to try it, it can't hurt for $1. Then this is another book I've seen on, I'm sure, like prize lists and things. I've seen it around and I decided to pick it up because, again, it's $1. What's the harm? And that is Gingerbread by Helen Oyemi. I hope I've pronounced that right. I'm so sorry. But this is about Perdita Lee, who may appear to be your average British schoolgirl. Harriet Lee may seem just a working mother trying to penetrate the social school hierarchy, but there are signs that they may not be as normal as they think they are. For one thing, they share a gold-painted 7th floor walk-up apartment with some surprisingly verbal vegetation. And then there's the gingerbread they bake. Londoners may find themselves able to take it or leave it, but it's very popular in the Druastrana, the faraway, or according to many sources, non-existent, land of Harriet Lee's early youth. Who knows at this point? I liked the cover. It was really appealing to me. When I saw it, I thought, oh yeah, I've seen that somewhere. It's $1. Next up, I won't lie, I grabbed this one because it's a Book of the Month pick. Does it sound like my cup of tea? Not particularly. It was $2, it was Book of the Month, and I want to give it a go. And that is The Magnolia Palace by Fiona Davis. So this was the Book of the Month pick in January of 2022, or one of the picks I should say. I'm a big fan of the colours. I'm liking the pink. This says Fiona Davis returns with a tantalising novel about secrets, betrayal and murder within one of New York City's most impressive Gilded Age mansions. 8 months since losing her mother in the Spanish flu outbreak of 1919, 21-year-old Lillian Carter's life has completely fallen apart. For the past 6 years, Lillian was one of the most sought-after artist models in New York City, with statues based on her figure gracing landmarks from the Plaza Hotel to the Brooklyn Bridge. But with her mother gone, a grieving Lillian is rudderless and desperate. The work has dried up and a looming scandal has left her entirely without a safe haven. So when she stumbles upon an employment opportunity at the Frick Mansion, a building that ironically bears her own visage? I don't even know what I'm saying. I don't actually know how to pronounce that word anyway. It's got her in it. Lillian jumps at the chance. But the longer she works as the private secretary to the imperious and demanding Helen Frick, the daughter and heiress of industrialist and art patron Henry Clay Frick, the more deeply her life gets intertwined with that of the family, pulling her into a tangled web of romantic trysts, stolen jewels and family drama that runs so deep the stakes just may be life or death. Does it sound like I'd normally read this? No. I want to give it a go. We're already 5 minutes in, so hurrying this up. The one that I saw and literally grabbed to my mother-in-law, I was like, you can't have this, I'm having it. Vladimir by Julia May Jonas, which was again one of the book of the month choices, this time in February of 2022. Don't know that much about it. It sounds like a Lolita retelling. It's incredibly short, and it says, when I was a child, I loved old men, and I could tell that they also loved me. And the summary is an incandescent debut about marriage and motherhood, art and love, and the temptation just to see how close you can get to the fire without getting burned. Who wouldn't be appealed to? So I got those for $6. Plus tax. Americans confuse me. Then I have my own book of the month subscription, which I pause when I'm not in America. So this time I had 3 books to pick up, one of which was the April choice I made, one was May, and then I had a backlist one that I added on. So the April choice I went with was Adelaide by Genevieve Wheeler. This is kind of a literary take on a romance. I think it's like a literary romance. It's about 26-year-old Adelaide, who is an American living in London. She meets Rory, the charming Englishman, but then it says, does he respond to texts, honor his commitments, make advanced plans? Sometimes, rarely, and no, not at all. But when he shines his light on her, the world makes sense, and Adelaide is convinced that in his heart he has fallen just as deeply as she has. Then, when Rory is rocked by an unexpected tragedy, Adelaide does everything in her power to hold him together, even if it means losing herself in the process. I'm really excited by this one, and I think the cover is stunning. The backlist one I got that people seem to love and be very excited about is A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham. This is actually about a character called Chloe, which clearly appeals to me, who is looking back 20 years. She's a psychologist in Baton Rouge and getting ready for her wedding. But when she was 12, 6 teenage girls went missing in her small town. And by the end of the summer, her own father had confessed to the crimes and been put away for life. So 20 years later, when a local teenage girl goes missing and then another, the terrifying summer comes crashing back. Is she paranoid, seeing parallels from her past that aren't actually there? Or for the second time in her life, is Chloe about to unmask a killer? I think it sounds fantastic, and I'm excited to read a thriller with the main character called Chloe. The final book of the month book that I got that people are raving about right now is The Last Word by Taylor Adams. This is from the author of No Exit, which I didn't actually like No Exit as much as other people did, so we'll see. But as far as I'm aware, this is about a horror author, and one day he receives a really scathing review from, well, a book reader, and he asks her to take it down, but when she says no, he's not very happy with that fact. And then this lady starts experiencing some very strange events, and it feels like she is being stalked and essentially hunted. So I'm really excited to read this one. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I have heard really good reviews. Next up, I made 6 purchases on Amazon while I was in the States because I just preferred the US editions. So the first 3 are an entire trilogy. So we have The Kiss of Deception, The Heart of Betrayal, and The Beauty of Darkness by Mary E. Pearson, and this is the Remnant Chronicles trilogy. So, I don't actually know anything about this. I remember liking the sound of it when Rachel did a summary of why she liked The Kiss of Deception. Since then, I've been on the lookout for this book in this edition, found all 3. So I own these now, and I think we'll leave it there for those because I have not much explanation to give. Next up, Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. I am fully aware that I can get this for like £3 in the works over here. It's very easily accessible. But can you see this cover? It is so cute. So this is about Macy, who is settling into an ambitious, if emotionally tepid routine. Work hard as a new pediatrics resident, plan her wedding to an older, financially secure man, keep her head down and her heart tucked away. But when she runs into Elliot, the first and only love of her life, the careful bubble she constructed begins to dissolve. Once upon a time, Elliot was Macy's entire world, growing from her gangly, bookish friend into the man who coaxed her heart open again, only to break it on the very night he declared his love for her. I think this sounds fantastic, and it's gorgeous. The next one I got was one I should have got from Book of the Month, but it was a little bit cheaper in paperback. This is Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. Hopefully that's closer to whatever I was saying. I don't know what this is about. I'm going to stay that way. This is an adult romance. It is a companion novel to a book that I have in my stack that I haven't got to yet to show you. We're going with it. We're just going to go with it. And finally, I have The How and the Why by Cynthia Hand. This is one that's been on my wish list for a solid 3 years now. And when I saw it going affordably on US Amazon, I knew it'd be a big floppy paperback. I decided to pick it up. So this is a YA contemporary focusing on adoption. Yes. So Cass has the best family a girl could ask for. She also has questions her adoptive parents, no matter how much they love her, can't answer. But 18 years ago, someone wrote Cass a series of letters that have been sealed up in the Idaho Bureau of Vital Records since the day she was born. Letters that may hold the answers she's been searching for. Sounds really hard-hitting, and I think it's going to be a good time. Then I need to give a brief mention. We are now, for the sake of my haul, we are back in the UK. There is one book I got that's already on my TBR for next month, and that is Only Love Can Hurt Like This by Paige Toon. So I will link my TBR for this month because hopefully I discussed it in more detail there. But I got that on a trip to Asda, and the books were 2 for £8, so I obviously got 4 books. The second one I got on my trip was The Fall by Louise Jensen. I have not yet read Louise Jensen. Chelsea really wants me to read The Family, and I will do it, but I just haven't read it yet. And she either read this just as it came out or she had an arc. I really can't remember. I think she had an arc, and she absolutely loved it. So I got this one to read more books that Chelsea likes. I don't normally read the descriptions of too many thrillers because I like to go in knowing not a lot. The next one I got was Idol by Louise O'Neill. This is one that I had the arc for on NetGalley. God, 2020? 2021, I think. It came out in 2022. And I just have never picked it up. So I was always tempted by the hardbacks. I know Louise O'Neill had lots of signed hardbacks in my local Waterstones. So when I saw this one going for £4, I thought, come on Chloe, it's going to motivate you to finally read this book. So that's why I have this one. This is about Samantha Miller, who is an oracle telling her young fans how to be their best true selves. She has 3 million followers and a recent #1 bestseller. Determined to bear all to her adoring fans, she's written an essay about her sexual awakening as a teenager. She's never told a soul, now she's telling the world. The essay goes viral. I really, really need to read this one. And then finally, a book everyone and their mother is talking about is Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. I was going to avoid this completely because it's just taken off as a TikTok star. But it was 2 for £8 and I will actually probably love it. Apparently it's filthy. So this is a romance between a hockey player and a figure skater. So we're going to go with it. So last but clearly not least, we have the gifts from you guys, and I was absolutely spoiled this month. So the first 2 are from the lovely Kay. One of them's already in my TBR for this month. So we have Bridgerton #2, The Viscount Who Loved Me, which is already on my TBR. And then Bridgerton #3, An Offer from a Gentleman by Julia Quinn. I won't go into the descriptions of these because I don't really want to for books 2 and 3 in too much detail, but Bridgerton is a Regency romance. It's absolutely adorable. I loved the first book, nearly 5 stars. Book 2 and 3 follow different siblings from the Bridgerton family, and I am very excited to get more looks into their romances. I have now watched season 2 on Netflix, which is book 2, so really excited to see how that one goes, and hopefully they do actually make a 3rd season sometime soon, but I'll need to read this one before I watch it. Next up, we have a gift from Nicola, which is A Cuban Girl's Guide to Tea and Tomorrow by Laura Taylor Namey. This is a YA contemporary about Lila, who is spending a summer in England, but that's not always been on the cards. Certainly not one stuck in the small town of Winchester with a lack of sun and zero Miami flavour. But when it's probably Lila. But when Lila meets Orion Maxwell in the local tea shop, her nightmare trip starts to look up. With a bright new future suddenly on the horizon, will she leave everything she's ever planned for and follow her heart? Well, I think she should. We then have 2 books from the lovely Adrienne. The first one is Punk 57 by Penelope Douglas. This one got crazy hype when Book Talk started, and I put it on my wish list then, and we have it now. I mean, it's Penelope Douglas, so it's going to be smutty romance, right? I have just read the back and I don't even know how I can summarize that quickly, and I don't want to read this entire thing out to you, but it sounds It says, we were perfect together until we met, and it is about Misha and Ren, who are pen pals when they're in 5th grade, all the way up until, for 7 years, they're pen pals. And then they may or may not meet in person. It sounds fantastic. And then I have The Do-Over by Lynn Painter, again from Adrienne. And this is a... is it adult or is it YA? Do you know what? I'm not sure. It's got very YA vibes, doesn't it? So this is about Emily, who's had a really bad Valentine's Day. And when she wakes up the next day, it's Valentine's Day again. And the next day, another Valentine's Day. It seems that Emily is stuck in some sort of loop nightmare that she can't wake up from as she re-watches her boyfriend Josh cheat on her day after day. In addition to Josh's recurring infidelity, Emily can't get away from the enigmatic Nick, who she keeps running into, sometimes literally in unfortunate ways. So another kind of Groundhog Day style romance that I'm definitely here for. We then have one that needs no description, and that is Barbarian's Prize by Ruby Dixon. This is a gift from the lovely Becca, and it is the 5th book, I think, in the Ice Planet Barbarian series. I've been collecting them as they come out in these really cute, doesn't look too spicy editions. This is romance with aliens. It's very adult and very descriptive. Thank you, Becca. Then a gift from the lovely Chelsea. This is the only one in this haul that does not add to my TBR, and that is Black Dawn by Rachel Kane. If you saw weekly reading vlog, maybe 137, I'm not quite sure which number it was now. Chelsea sent me this amazing book, which is actually signed by Rachel Kane. So this has replaced my copy of Black Dawn on my shelves. Doesn't impact my TBR, doesn't impact my bookshelf number. So thank you, Chelsea, again for this one. This is book 12 in the Morganville Vampire series, which is a YA paranormal town run by vampires. It is fantastic, and if you've never read it, you should give it a go. Nearly there. I've been talking for like half an hour. We have 2 gifts from the lovely Jess. So again, thank you. We have Part of Your World, which is the first book to be a companion to yours truly. And I have read the back of this once, thought it sounded cool, would like to go in not knowing much, but I guess we're going to need a slight summary. We've got Alexis Montgomery, who's had her world turned upside down by Daniel Grant, a ridiculously hot carpenter who's 10 years younger than her and as casual as they come. The complete opposite of sophisticated city girl Alexis, and yet their chemistry is undeniable. It sounds adorable. And then, again, another one that everyone and their mom was talking about, so I needed it. And that's Happy Place by Emily Henry. I have all of Emily Henry's books. This one doesn't even match in terms of format, but I had to have it because everyone has it right now. I am like the ultimate consumer. This is about Harriet and Wynne, who are the perfect couple, and every year they go on vacation with their friends. But this year they're still going on the vacation even though they split up 6 months ago, and they have to pretend to still be in love for their friends. But how are they going to pretend in front of the people who know them the best? So I believe this is a second chance romance, and I'm very excited to get to it. It's also really pretty. And the final one I have here is actually a really good note to end on, because it is Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister. I don't know who sent this to me. I'm still completely don't know who this came from, why it arrived. So first up, thank you. Second, who are you? Please let me know. This is about a woman who is up late waiting for her son. Then she spots him and can't believe what she sees because her son stabs a stranger. Then she falls asleep, but the next day when you wake up, it's yesterday. You've gone back a day, and you need to figure out who your son's stabbing, why he's stabbing him, and how to stop it happening. I'm excited for this. It's like a time travel thriller, and that sounds so cool. So yes, please do let me know if you sent me this. As always, thank you again to everybody who sent me a lovely gift. I do not deserve you. I'm so grateful. But for now, I've been talking for far too long. My voice actually hurts. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any strong opinions on any of these books, please do let me know down in the comments. I would love to chat to you guys about them. But for now, that's all I have time for. So thank you very much for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.